the press conference for Under Starters Orders, which takes place on Saturday the 29th of November at York Hall, Bethnal Green, which features a lot of our up-and-coming prospects, as well as some exciting additions to the show, including Lee Markham here, which we'll cover later on. So this show is being promoted by Kevin Campion. This is his first promotion in association with Goodwin Boxing. And what I'd like to do first of all is to introduce all the people on the panel here. We'll go left to right, and I'll introduce a man, Luke Davey. Now, Luke Davey is a man who should be rewarded with a British title for his patience. It's taken nearly a year to get his professional licence, and there's been a lot of heartache as well as a lot of stress along the way, and I'm absolutely delighted that he's been able to get his professional licence, because at some point we didn't think he was going to get it. And it's fantastic, and I can't wait to see him fight on the 29th. Next to Luke is Lenny Butcher, who trains Lee Markham, one of the brightest super middleweight talents in the country, who's going to really gate-crash the whole scene in 2015, and more about that later on. And next to him is the man himself, Lee Markham, who we're delighted to be showcasing on this card. Lee has had a very good run for the last few years since we've looked after him. He's now on the verge of major titles. He should have been fighting Frank Buglioni on the 29th of November, but unfortunately Frank Buglioni decided to vacate rather than fight Lee. But maybe down the line we'll have that fight, and I'm sure Lee will end his career at some point in 2015. To my right, I've got Kevin Campion, who's our head of boxing. We've been delighted that Kevin joined us 3 months ago. He's doing a fantastic job as our whole boxing group goes from strength to strength. And Kevin will have a few words with you in a minute. Next to Kevin is a very recent acquisition to our team, Matt McCarthy, who signed a 3-year contract with us very recently. And we're delighted that Matt makes his Goodwin bow on the 29th of November. We're working through opponents as we speak. But Matt will be returning in a 6-round contest, and we've got high hopes for Matt over the next year or two. Next to Matt is Mini Mike Tyson himself, Matthew Chander, who is one of the most exciting super bantamweights I've seen for a long time. He's a lad that's fought as an amateur, but he's got the style of a pro, and I think Matt Chander will be a big name in boxing over the next 18 to 24 months. And next to Matt is Steve Kipps, who trains Matt. And Steve's a great trainer, and Matt's very lucky to have him, and he's doing a wonderful job with him. But before we carry on, I'd like to introduce Kevin Campion, head of boxing, who's going to talk more about the show.
Well, thank you, Steve. As Steve said, I've been the head of boxing for Goodwin Promotions, as well as Goodwin Main Events and Goodwin Sports. This is my first show as a promoter, as my own right. This obviously in conjunction with Goodwin Boxing, as all of my shows that I'll promote will be in conjunction with Goodwin Boxing. I'm very pleased to have such talent on the bill. As we said, Steve said, the young fighters coming through, most of which are here today, as well as some other exciting people that's on the bill. On the bill we've got former European heavyweight champion Richard Towers. He makes his comeback fight, being trained by Adam Booth. We've also got Ryan Burnett, who's a super bantamweight, very, very exciting prospect. He's also trained by Adam Booth, he's on the bill. We've got the return of heavyweight Ali Adams, whose last fight was against Audley Harrison, which obviously everyone knows who Audley Harrison is. And it's just really, really exciting. We've got Tony Conquest on there as well, cruiserweight, former Commonwealth champion cruiserweight, so that's really good to have these young guys to look up to. As I said, I've been head of boxing for sort of about 3 months now, and it's just finding my feet, and it's really good that the Goodwin Group's going from strength to strength. But I don't want to carry on talking too much. I'd like to hand it over to the fighters first of all. The first one I'm going to call to the mic is Lee Markham. We've got some questions that have come in from Facebook and Twitter, and we'll open it up to the floor in a bit. But I think we've got 3 questions for Lee Markham, so if we can ask Lee to come up to the stand first of all.
The first question is from Joseph Shaw. Are you ready to step up to the likes of Buglioni?
Yeah, I think I've been ready for a while. Obviously I was mandatory to fight him. I think he wants to fight, but I do, but it's just boxing politics get involved, and I'm sure it'll happen at some point next year.
The second question is from David Lloyd in Wales. Why have you not given Bradley Price a rematch after the controversy in the last fight?
Well, it hasn't been offered for one. Secondly, I would give it to him, but he just keeps getting beat lately, so I've got his name on record, I've beat him, so you know, if he goes and wins a title or gets a few wins under his belt, it'd be worth me fighting him. But at the minute I beat him and I'm moving on and upwards, and you know, I think he lost a fight again after me against Sam Sheedy. So you know, that's all I've got to say on that really.
The third question is Wayne Ellis from Essex. Do you see yourself as one of the best super middleweights in the country?
Yeah, I'm a realist. It's all about levels, and you know, super middleweights is it's one of the hardest categories I think to be in. Obviously, there's Froch, Groves, and DeGale that obviously lead in and above me, going on for world honours, and Paul Smith and Callum Smith, and you know, I believe I'm maybe just below them, working my way up. So yeah, I'm definitely in the top 10, I think.
Oh, thanks, Lee. The next set of questions is for Lenny Butcher. Can we just wake Lenny up from his sleep? The first question is Paul from London. How far do you think Lee Marr can go title-wise as a professional?
He can do what, sorry?
How far can he go title-wise?
I think he can go all the way, really. He's being well looked after by the company, and we'll keep picking him the right fights and moving along gradually, we get there.
The second question is from the same guy. Who else do you train?
Sorry?
Who else do you train other than Lee?
We got Kevin Greenwood, Ashley Hill, and a couple of others coming along.
Ashley Sill is fighting on this show. What can you tell us about him?
He's a nice prospect. He's had his one fight, stopped the third in the first round. So he trains very hard, very dedicated. Could go domestic level anyway.
Okay, thanks then. That's all the questions we have for you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so next up we've got Luke Davey for questions, the welterweight prospect making his debut. So if you can come up, Luke.
The first question is Brian from Berkshire. I've seen you on the website for quite a long time, but it's taken ages for you to make your debut. Why is this?
I've had a long road. I was supposed to be fighting back in May the 17th. I had the MRI scan and they diagnosed that I had a brain aneurysm. So that sort of, I thought, put an end to my career at the time. I then went on to do personal training, and during that I had a phone call saying that it might have been a shadow on the scan. So I've gone to do further scans from there, and it's going through the board for the medical, and they've now cleared it off after a long time. It's all done now. That's the reason.
Good to hear. The second question from the same person. What sort of style do you have, and how far do you think you can go as a professional?
I think I can go very far. I mean, my amateur career was good, all positive. I haven't lost yet. It wasn't a very long career, but I believe I can go far. I'm a southpaw fighter, and ambidextrous, so I'm also good at orthodox. I believe I can go far.
Thanks, Luke. That's all we have for you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so the next set of questions we had was for Grant Dennis, the super middleweight, but I believe they're stuck on the motorway and on the way here. So next up we'll call is, as Steve said, the new signing in Matt McCarthy, a welterweight whose current record is 9-1.
The first question for Matt is Pete West from Southend. Thought you were with Miranda Carter now, and I've seen you have signed a 3-year deal with Steve Goodwin. Why? What has happened?
Well, the thing is with Miranda Carter, she took me well. I had 10 fights for her as a manager, but when you first go pro, it's about keeping under the radar. If you get too many wins, they expect too much from you. So we stayed with Miranda. I know at the time, and I thought my contract was up in May, and our last show was in March. And I thought, what's the point of boxing once? Potentially, I was only going to Steve Goodwin for like one fight, and that was on the 29th. But he offered me something that I couldn't refuse. So it was mainly to sign with him and pick up some belts down the line. It's better for me, better exposure now. So.
Okay. The second question is from Ruben Glenn from Tilbury. You lost in your last fight to the first boxer you faced with a positive record. Does this show you have reached your level?
I think it was shit, Chris Truman, and I fight him in his back garden. I fight him whenever he wants to fight. With off the fight, he come into the change room after the fight and said, here's the fight. He said, we'll have the rematch. The coach come in and shook me hand, and I took the rematch on the night. My team was rung his manager up the week later and said, we'll have the fight. But he's a pussy, and he didn't want to fight. So if he wants to fight, get in touch with Steve Goodwin. I'll fight him next week, the week after, I'll fight him tomorrow, I'll fight him at any show he wants. The offer's there. So there it is. Let's get it on if he wants it.
Good answer. The third and final question is Amy Johnson from Watford.
Right.
You're a good-looking guy. Firstly, you're single. Firstly, are you single? And secondly, are you worried about losing your looks by getting hit in the face?
I don't know what to say.
I did try and put my girl voice there, but...
Nah. Fighting's what I do. That fighting's the best looks don't mean nothing. As long as you're in that ring fighting for war, that's what it is.
Did you... a request from the audience, are you single?
Sure, you don't ask me.
Who one said that, John? It's the one if I run a fight. Why are they not doors then? No. Take it.
Thanks, that's all we have from you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so next we've got questions for Mr. Steve Goodwin, manager of a lot of the fighters here. Should be interesting.
First question for Steve is Patrick from Dublin. I've seen on social media certain promoters insulting others. What's your views and why have you never seemed to respond?
I think promoters should work together rather than insult each other. It's happened to me. I've had a particular promoter insulting me personally at one stage. We've chosen not to respond, as I don't think it's very professional, and I don't think people should behave like that in this sport. We should all be working together. So if a promoter wants to insult another, I think the promoter that's been insulted should treat it with the contempt it deserves, and that's just no comment, and let them get on with it. We should all live our lives and try and do the best that we can without insulting others.
The second question is Alan from Canary Wharf. I've heard you could be going to Celebrity Big Brother, is this true?
Number one, I'm not a celebrity. Number two, I won't wear a dress. And number three, Josh, I think you'd be better looking. You'd have more chance of pulling the birds in there than me.
Thanks, Dad. That's all we have for you.
Celebrity Big Brother, eh? Okay, so next up we've got Mini Mike Tyson, as we've introduced before, Superman to Matthew Chandler, who's currently 1-0. Might have to hold it.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. The first question is Ron from Essex. I saw your first fight and was very impressed. I read that Steve has called you a mini Mike Tyson. Do you model yourself on Tyson?
I don't know. I wouldn't say I do. I mean, I'm a Tyson fan, but I wouldn't say I model myself on Tyson now.
Do you model yourself on any particular fighter?
Yeah, loads of fighters. I mean, I would say Roberto Duran, maybe Hagler. But it depends who I'm fighting, to be honest.
So you see yourself as being able to mix your style up, you're not just one-dimensional come forward?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I prefer to fight aggressive fighters who come forward, who sort of give me opens and stuff like that. So yeah.
So were you happy with your debut? You fought the awkward Anwar Afadi, you dealt with him better than a lot of other people I've seen. So were you happy with your performance?
No, I could have got a stoppage in the first round and be 100% 100% KO record, but no, I'm happy. I feel like there was some things I didn't do as good as I usually do, but the occasion I think did get to me a bit, and the crowd was the crowd cheering and stuff, sort of set me off my game plan and stuff. But other than that, yeah, I'm happy with the performance.
Good. The second question from the same person. Who trained you, and tell us about your training regime?
Steve Kipps trains me. My training regime, I run in the mornings before work, get home, have dinner,
we travel and we go through quite a few gyms for sparring. So John's got Monday through Sunday. Yeah, I just do lots of little things. I do lots of speed work. I do track work. I run a lot. So yeah, everything what else can do.
Do you find it hard training alongside a job?
Not really. My work is quite supportive and stuff. So yeah, it's bearable.
That's good to hear. That's all the questions we have for you.
Actually.
Okay, so the next questions we had was for Mohammed Mustafa, who's again in the same car, I believe, that's on the way, hasn't been able to get here. I believe we've got a question coming for Steve Kipps, is that right, Josh?
Yeah, too.
So I think call Steve Kipps up, trainer Matthew Chander.
The first question is David from Kent. What do you see as a special? What do you see that's special in Matthew Chander?
I see it's special. He listens. He always wants to better himself. He's probably never happy. My job is to actually tell him he's doing all okay. So yeah, he's always wanting 100%, 110%.
The second question from the same person. Who else do you train apart from Matthew?
I was involved with Jason Matthews, who won the world title against Ryan Rhodes, 99. I had Ian Napper. I had him from 15-year-old, took him through to represent England. He won the ABAs, he won a bronze in the Romanian Cup. He got to the quarterfinals of the World Championships. We won the Southern Area title. He was unlucky in the British Commonwealth. He actually burnt himself in the dressing room. If I'd have been more experienced, I'd have stopped the fight. On the top of the bill, and Frank Warren's telling you to get on. What do you do? And we was actually winning the world title fight. And then we split after that, after what happened in that world title fight, which he'd have won if he hadn't done it. I'm not going to say what, but there you go.
Do you see Matthew reaching those sort of heights with you?
I've got every hope that he will. We're going to just take every step as we, he's got a professional style. That was probably what we went against him when he was an amateur. They didn't really like his style. There was a couple of fights where I thought he was totally robbed because of his style. I think he suits the pro game. We're not going to make predictions. We're just going to take every fight as it comes. I have every hope in him. I believe in him. He believes in me, and we're going to go all the way.
Good to hear. That's all we have for you today.
Okay, so that's all the questions we had sent in from Facebook and Twitter. I'd just like to open it up to the floor. If anyone's got any questions here in attendance, then please feel free to ask any questions. Don't all rush at once. Okay, that's fine. So again, look, for everyone that's watching this, everyone that's in attendance, these boxers that are sitting here rely on the support of you guys coming, buying tickets and going. A lot of these guys can't fight unless they sell tickets. The support that you show these guys is of paramount importance so they can go forward and get the fights they want to. So the tickets are still available. Get in contact with the boxers if you know them on Facebook, Twitter, and get in contact with them. Alternatively, if you don't know any of the boxers, you can get it through goodwinpromotions.co.uk, tickets on there. And again, just thank you for everyone supporting the show and supporting all these boxers, because it is so important to them. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.